We are live here on this Tuesday, coming to the third week of October. And what we are talking about today is this wins auditions. And so you're probably thinking to yourself, Arden, what wins auditions? And here's the thing. You know how it feels when you walk into an audition and or really any other time that counts, an important performance, gig, could be a recording session, right? And there's that restricted, tight feeling that you get in your voice, especially as the pitch starts to rise. And it's no joke. I mean, you feel it, you know what I'm saying? And it's that feeling of being stuck, like your voice just isn't free. And that's the only way you can describe it. It feels restricted. It feels like kind of there's this just container around it. And it feels like a lot of work instead of it just feeling free and open. And, you know, it really stops you from being able to trust your voice. It's no joke. It prevents you from being able to land those big opportunities that you want, because that freedom, it's not just that you feel the restriction, we hear it as in the audience too. So it stops you from being able to stand out from the competition and break through to the opportunities you want. And worst of all is it completely decks your confidence, because you can't rely on easy access throughout your whole range when you really need it. And worst of all is that it also is a precursor to vocal injury, that restriction, that tightness, that feeling of the voice just not being free. And so if you are experiencing this stuff, the longing to free your sound and open your voice to break through and stand out in those elite opportunities when it counts, then understanding what is causing that restriction is an absolute must. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I will tell you that the key to that kind of power and that comes from that open, free sound is really in understanding your resonance and what affects it. So when we talk about resonance, we're talking about where the sound vibrates through your body. And when you don't feel that free and open sound, it's because the way that you're creating and using your resonance is being sabotaged by things that come in and literally restrict the space that the sound needs to vibrate in. So really that is, when we're talking about resonance, it is the space and the shape that the sound vibrates in inside your body. And when you are feeling, especially as you go higher up in your range, that restriction where your sound doesn't feel free, right? What's happening is that the places that you resonate, where the sound vibrates and bounces around in your body, are literally the wrong size and the wrong shape. So sound lives in your body in a couple different places. It lives in your chest cavity. It lives in your head cavity, like in your sinuses between your skull and your brain. And it also lives in your buccal cavity, which is inside your mouth and kind of down your throat. And we can't change the shape or the size of our chest cavity or of our head cavity, but we can dramatically affect the size and shape of what happens in our throat and inside our mouth by what we do with our soft palate, our tongue, our jaw, the muscles along the side of the neck. And so if you're not feeling freedom and openness in your resonance, a couple of these things may be going on. You may have a nasal sound. You may have a strident sound. You may be pitchy, meaning flat, sharp. You may have an overly dull, dark sound, which can be something like, oh, instead of ah, right? The way I'm changing the resonance is by changing what I'm doing with my tongue and my soft palate inside. It creates a different shape, and the sound then bounces differently, and you hear a different sound out in the audience. And so, you know, when you listen back, if you are cracking, also if you have a lot of trouble transitioning registers smoothly, right? Like all of these things affect the power of the open free sound. Also, because you don't have a handle on how to create the right shape and space of your resonance inside your buccal cavity. And so then you get insecure, and then you try to grab and manipulate, grab with tongue, grab with jaw, grab with throat. And that just creates even more restriction, which creates even less space and even more wrong shape of what's happening inside your buccal cavity, which then just exacerbates the problem, makes you feel more insecure, which makes you feel like you need to control even more, which makes you grab even more, which then closes the space even more, creates the wrong shape even more, you see. And then it's just like a negative feedback loop here, okay? And so there's so much more that goes into this. But first, I just want you to understand that if you do not have that free and open sound that you can trust, a large part of it is because you do not have the right understanding of how these things work that affects all aspects of the sound that comes out. I mean, if you think about it, the sound that we hear is a direct result of the space that the sound is created in. It is the same in a room as it is in your body, right? You have like a dome-shaped room, and you get like an echo, like in a tunnel, you know what I mean? You have a very squat, flat room, and it's a very dead room, and there's not a whole lot of resonance, right? And so the shape of the space affects that, and it's the same thing inside the body, okay? But there's so much that goes into understanding how these parts of the body, tongue, jaw, soft palate, neck, like work in order to create optimum resonance, so that you can transition smoothly from head voice to chest voice and back, smoothing your break, eliminating your break, no more crack, right? That's, if you're experiencing those things and you don't have tools for your resonance that are working for you, being able to mix, being able to find mixed voice, being able to strengthen your head voice and expand your range all the way up to the top. If you feel like you have a limited range, or you get to a certain point in your voice and you literally feel like you're just hitting a ceiling and you don't know how to get past it, that is a resonance problem, okay? Same thing with being able to sing in high chest voice, otherwise known as belting, being able to do that without strain. There are resonance tools to be able to do that, okay? But without these tools, you don't have access to the full potential of your sound, the full potential of your voice. And you feel it because you don't feel free, and then you feel insecure, and then all those dominoes start to fall. That is why this November coming up November starts next week, right? Because Halloween's next Friday. So starting next week in November is Resonance Month. So the whole month of November, we're going to be talking resonance. We're going to be helping you to understand how your sound is created and how you can better the resonance so that you get that free, open, powerful sound that you've been longing for. So November is Resonance Month. And to kick it off, I'm hosting a free online 2-day resonance reset training coming up on November 4th and 5th. So last month was Breath Support Month, and we did the breath support reset. This month coming up in November, we are doing the resonance reset training, 4th and 5th of November. For most of you, you guys, the way that you're using your resonance just does not work. Either because you haven't been taught the right tools, or because you've been winging it on your own, you've gotten into bad habits that maybe you don't even realize. But how do you know your resonance is not working? Because you have any number of these issues. Difficulty mixing, difficulty changing registers, head to chest, fear of your break, cracking on your break, difficulty on high notes, difficulty belting, difficulty with pitchiness, inconsistency and unreliability, depending on where you are in your range. So these are the things that are resonance problems. And if you have issues with these, it's just that you just don't have bulletproof tools for your resonance yet. And so it is time to reset with resonance technique and tools that work. So join me November 4th and 5th for this 2-day resonance reset training. It's going to be 90 minutes each day. I'm going to be training you on the most important technique shifts that you have got to make, guys. You must make these in order to have bulletproof resonance throughout your entire range. So the link to grab your spot, if you're watching on YouTube, it's in the video description. If you're watching on Facebook, it's in the post copy. And also I'm going to put it right here in the comments of Facebook as well, so that you can have it right now. Whoops, that's not the right thing. Wait, let me get back. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm such a tech tart sometimes. Okay, here. Now I've got it. Copy and paste into the Facebook comments. Okay, there you go. And I see you guys in the chat. Let's see, Bryn has a question. How to make head and chest voice match in tone, strength, and sound. Bryn, first of all, Bryn is joining us for our 4-month intensive training program starting in January. And Bryn, like, buckle up, because there's so much that we're going to get into to help you smooth that. But this is exactly what we're going to be talking about in the resonance reset training. So click the link, get in there, register, because it's way more than I can explain like right now in a little like 15-minute live. But really what it has to do with is making sure that both parts of your registers, head voice, chest voice, are equally strong. And we're going to be talking about why and what that is, how to create that in the resonance reset training. So that would be a great thing for you to do, just to kind of get some tools before you start in the intensive in January. So definitely get in on that. And Ash, I see you say it's your baby's birthday on the 15th, or on the 5th. Sorry, that's awesome. So you can get a little training and then do a little singing to your little one. So resonance, you guys, the most important part of this that I want you to understand is that the most natural tone and sound, like your authentic sound, is most apparent and abundant when you get these reset tools, so that you understand the correct amount of space and the correct shape of the space that the sound is going to bounce around in, and how to create that. So, you know, when I hear singers all the time, like, I don't really know what my sound is. Most of the time it's because you guys are manipulating your resonance and you're getting all up in there and you're restricting things. And so how could you know what your sound is? Because you haven't been utilizing the correct techniques and tools to free your resonance, free your sound, so that your most authentic voice comes forward. And your most authentic sound is your most free sound, and it is the most powerful sound. So that's what we're going to be getting into in the resonance reset training. It's free, but you have to be registered to get the Zoom link to join. So make sure that you use the register link in the post copy and in the comments to be able to join us. And especially if you couldn't make it to our last free training event, come to this one. Now's your chance. This is going to be our last one for the end of the year. So if you know that you've got power and talent in your voice, but you feel like there's just a level of freedom and consistency that you're missing, this is for you. So register there, guys, and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.